What is up, Attacking Third YouTube? It's your girl, Darian Jenkins. It's a lovely day because I'm joined by Selly Queen, my former teammate, jokester, life of the party, LaBonta. How we feeling today?
I'm great. Now that I get to see you, my
Aw.
gosh.
And you got the memo to wear a white sweater today. Today's white sweater day, in case you didn't know. We came matching unintentionally. But we want to talk today about the big five moments in a game. And I feel like this is something that when we brought up this topic, I was like, I've been told this since I was, I think, 7 years old, even before I understood what it really meant. So I want you to explain to those that are listening first what, like you're explaining to your grandma, what the big five moments are in a match.
Well, if I could explain to my grandma right now that there would be women's professional athletes, she would be so proud. But well, that's a whole nother story. We'll get into that later. But no, it's obviously when you ask like how I'm doing, I'm bitter because the big five was not just didn't just happen to me, it happened to a couple other teams this past week with the games. But basically, big five is the first 5 minutes of the game, last 5 minutes of the game. Someone scores, it's that next 5 minutes as well. So, what people don't understand if you haven't played the game is yes, there's tactics in soccer. Yes, there's, soccer IQ, but the big 5 minutes is all about mentality. I think it's all about who wants it more. You can set up any which way. You can plan all week for a game and how the opponent is going to play against you. But in the start of the game, they can line up a different way and you don't know. So it's just whoever's going to get to the ball first, whoever wants it more, and then you can adjust as the game goes. But I always tell fans, you got to be there during kickoff. And even if your team is losing, do not leave early because those big 5 minutes, beginning of the game, end of the game, are huge. And that happened to, I think, 3 teams this weekend where the results flipped immediately.
Just so listeners know, shout out to Audrey Tonelli because she sent us these stats. So far, 6 goals scored out of 114 have come in the first 5 minutes of the games, which means 5.3%. 10 goals have come in the last 5 minutes of the game so far in the NWSL season. So those are big game-changing moments. And I know that tactically we're going to focus on the mental physical part of what that means and what that requires, but to me tactically, I can just remember going into games where coaches, especially on a more of a transitional team where we do high press, the first 5 minutes from kickoff, you want to suffocate the teams. And you brought up Louisville and Portland, which was a chaotic game on many fronts. Holy shit. But that's a game where you can set the tone for the rest of the match. And I think both of those teams came out in that same sort of, we're just going to press, we're going to hit you, you're going to feel it. And it ended up being a really great, chaotic game in that. But I want to know what mentally at the start in those first five come to mind for you when you go into a game.
Yeah, I think the first five, you're sitting there, you're planning all week for this game. You're waiting for the ref to blow the whistle so that you can just go. It's like you're holding a dog back, right? And they're just trying to get that treat and they're just ready. And then as soon as that whistle goes, you're just going. So I think usually not even just the first game of the year, every first 5 minutes of a game is usually chaotic. And that's just who's coming with more energy, who's coming with more passion. And to be honest, like I can give credit to North Carolina because we were coming into this game, top of the table, they're at the bottom. And you could tell it was a home game for them. And it just meant more right off the bat. They were coming for us. And they carried that on through the entire game and they closed it out and they got 2 goals in stoppage time. And so did Orlando. And I think one by Portland when they tied it up at the end of the game too in the Louisville Portland game. But it's just who wants it more. It's a feeling that you can't really explain unless you're on the field. It's something also you cannot teach. You cannot go tell your players, like they have to have it in them you have to have the dog in them. We'll carry on with
Mm-hmm.
that metaphor the rest of this. But you have to have it in you. You have to want it more. And I'll give credit to North Carolina. At the end of the day, they didn't just want that tie. They wanted that win more.
I think, well, I mean, I can say, because I'm not playing anymore, North Carolina needed that. And I think we saw that. There was obviously a lot of questions going into this. Even when we previewed this on the Thursday show, this matchup clearly was in your guys' hands, just looking statistically at it. But it was that mentality that was just different, where I think the adrenaline, especially in the last five, obviously statistically is what got them the game because they scored. But can you talk about the last 5 minutes? Because after this, you've ran the entire game, you've had a ton of adrenaline, you're traveling. There's a lot of factors that can go into this, heavy legs, whatever it may be. What is it mentally in the last five that gives a team the edge for you?
Yeah, so I think our league, when you look at the players that are on the field, everyone is physically fit. Kudos to everyone's sports performance. They get them fit, they get them recovered to go do it again at the end of the weekend. So it is never, I think, it is never about if you're not fit enough. It's all if you're mentally fit. So you're most likely at the end of the game, if you're conceding, it's because you're mentally not fully in it. You're not stepping as quick. You're maybe a little bit flat footed. Any other day, you can make that run to go block a pass, block a ball, make a tackle. It's if your head is in it. And I think, North Carolina, again, I can speak on, they were on their front foot. They were winning every first ball, second ball. Like people, if you're not in the game, you go up for the first header, that's fine. But the most dangerous one is the second ball. And I think they capitalized definitely on their last two goals. It's bobbling in the box, and KK Kurtz gets on it and just shoots. Like, she finds the tiniest window to get that ball through. Their next goal, it's a second ball. Ashley Sanchez gets to it first, hits it in, and you're just like, how is this? You think it's luck. It's not. They just wanted it more. Maybe the shot making in that little window was lucky, but you create your own opportunities, and that's what they did. And so, everybody says like golf is a mental game. Soccer is just as mental. It's crazy to me. And I think you learn that more as you go. So I was talking to my teammates about game management. We're up a couple goals. And again, it's not about the team wasn't trying. We were trying. We were running out there. It's just being smart and having that mental fitness is what I think in our league gets teams over the lines and gets them the results.
Well, we even saw that with Orlando and Angel City. I mean, Angel City came out swinging at Orlando. Everybody had kind of written Angel City off. I'll admit I did, just because they're at home. I did think Orlando was going to lose twice. And Angel City, to me, showed how young they are, because you look at their roster, they have a lot of rookies, they have a lot of players balling out, but the management of the game went out the window. And like you said, it's those minutes, it's those moments when you're not paying attention. It's okay, what does our rest defense look like on throw-ins? Are we tracking back? Are we getting goal side on set pieces? Are we staying with our marks on corners? It's those mental moments that give a team an edge. So I love that. I think this was a really good topic, because to me, the audience doesn't really, I guess, being from the fan perspective, those big five moments, I don't think you fully feel them unless you're an actual player. But even watching the game low, you can see that in other teams, that clearly that's something that they've worked on.
Yeah, absolutely. And to go back to the Angel City Orlando game, you're up 2-0 at half. Is that then also a tactical change? For me, the momentum changed when Alana Kennedy, again, I don't know how this woman consistently gets hit in the face this many times. And it's like, yeah, you can get hit, but she physically,
she carries it.
Has a mark. She literally carries it with her. But no, we don't need to talk about that. When she came off the field, she was the veteran on that field that I think would have helped management manage the game. As soon as she came off, you could see the youth in that group. They were constantly going. There was no tactical change. They weren't sitting. They were still continuing trying to go. And that's what Orlando thrives on, those little opportunities to counter in those moments. And for them to come back, credit to them. That just shows them they still want it. They're not okay with that, lifting the trophy last year. They came back. They had never done that in their program history before. So that's what I'm saying. Fans, do not leave your seats till that final whistle, because something is always going to happen.
Something is always going to happen, and players are always going to make something happen. We're going to talk about the rookies that have been balling out in the NWSL right after this break. What's up, YouTube? Darian Jenkins here with the gorgeous LaBonta. We're gonna get into the rookie parade. I know I'm coming with zingers today. The sun's out in New York, so I'm just in a really good mood. Lo, you look great. I'm so glad we're doing this together. All right, we're gonna talk the post-draft era. The rookies now in the NWSL. They've been balling out. I think every week a rookie has been a staple in a game that's ultimately gotten a team win. They've done something big that's kept a team in the game. And we're going to shout out some of them and talk about what this looks like post no draft. So just for some context, 8 rookies have scored a goal and 6 rookies have provided assists. Some of those have done that in the same game. Riley Tiernan is one of the rookies that leads with 3 goals and 1 assist for Angel City. And 9 rookies have played at least some minutes in every single game. And I don't think we've had a year in the NWSL where we've had rookies even have the space on a team to make that much impact. So, Lo, do you think this is just part of the post no draft era where, players have the advantage of somewhat deciding what team they want to go to?
Can you imagine in our day if we got to choose where we wanted to go? First off, I don't know what teams would have wanted me. I went second to last in the college draft.
That's actually what I was going to ask. Yeah, when did you go in the draft?
So I was like up for the in college. I was up for the Herman Trophy. I was like a semifinalist. I was projected to go.
Lo was a baller for Stanford in college. Like going before at UCLA, Lo was like circled on everybody's scouting reports, just for some context.
Oh my God, TBT to those rivalry days. You guys were our biggest rivals. But yeah, projected top 10. And I'm like Sanders, bro. I went second to last in the entire draft, not even first round. Second to last in the entire draft. And people are always like, people are like, where are you getting your humor from? And I'm like, trauma, because that was a big part of it. But to go to that, when it came to our CBA and they said, we're not doing a college draft anymore, I was kind of scared for these rookies and these younger players, right? Because those were times where some people just got a chance. You were called into market with a team and you were given a chance to get a contract. Whereas now, you're negotiating already for a contract before you even go into market, meet the team. So I was truly scared. But for some reason this year, it's actually paid off. Like, these rookies are popping off. And I'm actually so impressed. We've talked about the youth, the young ones coming in, but these rookies coming in from college as well are crushing it. Like, there's so many in the league, and I feel like years before, when we're talking about last year, who could be the potential rookie of the year, there was maybe a debate between 3 players. This year now, like, I'm going to feel bad when we're talking about some of them and I'm leaving some of them out, because I know we're going to get off this and I'm going to go, oh, I should have brought up this player. But there's so many now, which is a good problem to have, but I'm going to forget some of them, and it's unfortunate. So if I forget you, I'm sorry.
Well, it's okay. We'll be back next Monday, and it's not personal. We can give you another shout out next Monday, because you guys are balling out. We know it's not the last time we're going to be having the conversation about rookies. But thinking about even when I was drafted, my situation was weird because I just broken my leg, and I wasn't sure what was going to happen, if I was going to be able to play again. And I ended up going at number 7 to North Carolina, but to me, it put a lot of like negative pressure on me in the long run. I think I was happy to be drafted, but I didn't know what that meant. I look at the North Carolina roster in 2017. It's Lynn Williams, now Biondolo, Jess McDonald, Ashley Hatch got drafted earlier in the draft. Like there wasn't room for me to be there comfortably. And I felt like it took me even longer, even when I got back on the field, to get my mentality right of what that even meant. Do you think it's an advantage to not have a draft number hanging over your head, whether it's, hey, you went in the first round or you went in the 4th round?
Yeah, that's such a good point to bring up because, when I got drafted, there were 5 people that were going to Sky Blue with me that were all drafted before me. At the end of the day, that's your competition, right? There's only ever so many roster spots open. And so once you finally get that contract, then you have to prove to your other teammates that you're worth it. Everyone is fighting for a spot and you're so young, and pro is so different from college because when you go to college, you're with that team no matter what for 4 years. Those are your people. Whereas pro, you could be gone next weekend. You could be traded away. So you just
They could sign an
different.
international 2 days after you get there, and you're like, well,
Yep. That happened to me. I just happened to be that Sam Kerr was signed and I was cut. So understandable
damn.
at the time. Yeah, I'm like, oh wow, wait, who's coming in for me? They're like Sam Kerr, and I'm like, I'll pack my bags right now. Like I'm out. I get it. It's not personal, but there is that pressure. So I'm just curious, when you're signed without a trial period now with the team, is that more pressure? Because your team's like, where'd this player come from? Like, I've worked so hard to get here, and now this person just signed so easily. And I know, at least on our team, we've created such a good culture that no matter who comes, yes, you're fighting in training for that position, but once you're in the locker room, everybody is, I shouldn't say besties, but we do all love each other. It's like a sisterhood. So I'm glad we have that culture here, but I can't speak the same for other teams and other organizations.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Even thinking back on like my experience, a lot of the teams, it took a minute to fit in, let alone when you're brought in and nobody has a lot of context of you, because the draft did give people a lot of context. Not everybody has especially during season, the time to watch college soccer closely and scout players and look at, you're too focused on yourself during season. So that's a good conversation I think we should revisit. But do you think it's a big advantage? We talked about this a little bit, but being able to scout a team yourself and decide, oh, that's a team that won the position, say like a midfielder. They just traded away midfielders. They need more depth here. This player just got injured and is going to be out for a year. That is something you have to look at. Do you think that that's really advantageous now for the rookies coming in, and maybe why we're seeing so much success?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know, we have more games in the year. We've expanded the league. We have more teams. A lot of people are getting injured, look at Spirit, for example. And you don't want that to be the reason why you get to play, is that there are so many injuries, but you can also capitalize on an opportunity.
It's an opportunity.
It's an opportunity. And that's, if I'm a player, I 100% am looking at that stuff. I don't know, I'm a competitor. I want to be out on the field. Yeah, maybe your rookie season is the year that you want to learn and transition in this league, but I don't know. For me, I want to be out on the field.
Right. And even thinking about style of play, like when I went to the Courage, it was super transitional. And looking back, I'm like, that fit me from college. Like I was really fast. I would go 1v1 and I would score. It didn't require me to tactically build out. But in hindsight, I'm like, I wish I would have gone to a team that was really, really tactical, that liked to build out, like how you guys play under Vlatko. There's all of these like really dynamic passing patterns that you can see that you guys work on in training, especially with you and Claire Hutton, how you guys pop off of each other, how you switch the point of attack, the runs that the forwards make off of you guys. Like that's a team where if you're a rookie, Kansas City is one of the top teams you want to play at.
Yeah, for me, I remember saying last year, I was like, this is fun. The way we're playing, this is fun. Whereas when we made the final in 22, that whole season, we were just trying to capitalize on moments of transition. We're just going. And at the end of the game, I was like, we would win, but I'm like, I'm dead. That I didn't enjoy that. So as a rookie, I would definitely look at style of play now. Like, what do you want to be a part of? Do you want to grow? What is it that you want? And I'm actually just so grateful that they get to choose, because we didn't
Right.
get to choose back then. And so maybe just look at the style and see, like, I know Alex Pfeiffer is out. She was one of our rookies last year, tore her ACL, but she trained with us like growing up. So that's the other thing. When you growing up, she's literally now 17. She's not even an adult yet, but there were years where she would come in the summer and get into sessions with us. So that's one thing they get to do as well, and that's an easy way for them to see if they like the culture of the team style. So I would say definitely do that going into it, and I'm assuming they all do. But again, I don't know. I don't ask kids these questions.
Lowe's hanging with the adults at the dinner table. I feel you. Flo, which rookies though have just stood out? Whether you've played against them or you've just watched them play in matches, who's like really been an impact player for you this year so far?
So going off of the ACFC Orlando game, like Tiernan again getting another
Mm-hmm.
goal, like it's defenders. You got to figure out this player. Yes, she's a rookie. You've seen some minutes on her now. She is crushing it. You know she's going to score. You know she's going to shoot. So that's a player that is definitely making an impact for Angel City. And then for me, honestly, Portland, we played them in the beginning of the year, and then watching them this last week, seeing them play 2 games. Kaya Hanks, again, is a player that just comes on and brings so much energy and skill. And when they were down against us, and she came on and she immediately lifted the game, was dangerous on the ball. She got a goal this past week. I think actually Portland in the Tuesday game got 3 rookie goals, if I'm not
Mm-hmm.
wrong. Perry stepped up. Perry, I didn't
Perry's
talk
been a
about
baller.
Perry. She's got a
Go
left
Bruins.
foot that just sent, yeah, go Bruins. A left foot. She can send it so far, but she's now stepped up for 2 PKs in her last 2 games. The other day, they were just adding to all their goals when they crushed Gotham. But this last weekend in stoppage time, it was a PK. It was 3-2 Louisville. She stepped up for the game and got them the tie. Like, how do you do that as a rookie? The gall.
The audacity.
The audacity. She grabbed it, stepped up. The team was behind her, and she put that ball in the back of the net again. And I actually just thought of another one. Japansky on Gotham.
She's a baller. She's
I
one of
am
mine too.
so impressed with her. And it's actually funny because her and Ella Stevens look so similar on the field with their hairstyles.
It's the slick back.
Yes. There are actually times in the first couple games I'm like, classic Ella, and I'm like, oh my God, wait, that's not her. That's her twin. And she is so impressive, has played so many minutes, and that I think is such a vital role in a lineup. Like, you can throw your rookies up top, they're going to work magic, but when you put someone in a defensive role, there's just so much demand on you to help you control the game, and I've been very impressed with her as well.
Another one I want to shout out is Maddie Darling. I think she's looked so good with Seattle. She looks like a young Lynn Biondolo to me. The way that she plays, the way that when she picks the ball up, it's like similar to Riley Tiernan, where this rookie's bold. You got nothing to lose because it's your rookie year. You're going to go shoot wherever you are on the field, and it's lethal. It makes defenses have to completely change their game. And then defensively, I have to give a shout out to another Bruin, Lily Reel has been so good for Gotham. Another left back for Gotham, another rookie that just looks so good in the attack. She's strong defensively, and that's a tough team to fit in there and really get a lot of minutes, and she's been super consistent.
And I think too, with her, what I've been most impressed about is when she came on as a sub, when Freeman, this was a few games ago, Freeman got hurt and she subbed on and she actually scored an own goal. So for her to turn that around and be so impressive now, like she didn't let that get to her. Kudos to her coach for continuing to put her out there, but she has been so good for them, so vital, and I just love that she was able to just brush that off, because a lot of the times too in sports we say you have to have a short-term memory. You can't dwell on your losses and you can't be too hyped on your wins, and the fact that she was able to just turn it around. So kudos to our young little vets.
They're killing it. I would love to be a rookie coming into the NWSL now. It's night and
Right?
day from
For
you
the
and mine's
pay,
experience.
for the
Facilities.
facilities. Yeah.
We could go on and on about NWSL back in the day, but we'll save that segment for another day, and maybe we'll have Jess McCall on and like some champagne to cheers ourselves for
Yes, I
going
was like,
through it, because
the drink in our
yeah, we need a little bevy to round that out. But Lo, this was such a fun show. I appreciate you. I can't wait for next Monday. Lo and I will be back, and I believe McCall Zerboni will be with us. So that's going to be even more chaos, more vets talking NWSL. But don't forget, Attacking Third will be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. with Lisa, Jen, and Sandra Herrera in the comments, just giving us love, Lo. Go check it out. Sandra is the best. We love you. But YouTube, thank you for sticking with us. And don't forget, tune in tomorrow at 11 with the girls to chat more NWSL and Women's Champions League. From Lo, Mark, I'm Darian. This was Attacking Third.